a lot of people, they try to find their passion. They never find it. You've got to learn to love what you do. I don't care if you're a janitor. You've got to find the enjoyable moments of doing what you do. You've got to love that. And if you don't, you can't find that, you've got to find something else. And it doesn't have to be something that you think you'll love. It has something, you have to get good at things before you can really enjoy them. And I've learned that with plenty of things in my life, primarily with sports. When I first started boxing, I loved watching boxing. I fell in love with it really quickly. But did I like getting hit? I hated it. Did I like getting humiliated and beat up? I hated it. But I had to do it to get better. And then it got to a point where I was good enough to hold my own and not get hit. And I was elusive and I was good. And that's where the enjoyable nature of doing something you're good at, that's where it becomes fun. That's where it really becomes fun. And it's weird because I'm in that stage now with jiu-jitsu. It's kind of like I've been doing it for 10 months now. And, man, it's been an absolute blast knowing from what I've learned from different activities and different experiences in my life that enjoy the time you're not good at something, because that's when you learn the fastest. That's when you have like this period of exponential growth where you learn so quickly, you learn so much, but you don't appreciate it because you get your ass kicked every day because people are better than you. But if you learn to be humble and humble yourself and not want to get to the finish line before you're ready to get there, that's where it's the funnest. And that's where I've really started to enjoy learning things. At work, some days are not fun, right? But for me, if I can learn something from work that day, then it's a win. If it's a 5% win, it's a 5% win. If it's a 1% win, guess what? It's a W. Yeah. I'll still bank that W and move on to the next day. Sometimes you lose too, but it's a W too. Just make sure you get more W's than L's, right? So it's funny that you brought up that point. I kind of skipped my mind now actually, but what was it? What were you thinking? Okay, so you were talking about essentially when you're kind of in the space of learning something, right? When you're in the space of doing something and grinding because you love it, right? You get to a place where sometimes you're in the rat race. Sometimes you're in it for the wrong reason, right? So it's cool to see that you continually do something that you love and it's changed to a platform like this, right? Yeah. Like you're at a different level now than what it was. And so I hope you had the kind of the appreciation for what you guys set up here.
I do. You brought up a great point of finding fulfillment in the thing that you learn and you get a little bit good at. And I think just from my experience, I felt the exact same way. Is, a lot of people don't get to the point where they can start something and then afterwards find fulfillment once they get even somewhat good at it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that learning curve at the beginning, like you said, when you were getting hit during your first times boxing, that's not fun.
Fucking
like, fuck
it.
that. I don't want to do that.
I went home crying sometimes.
Yeah. Like at the end of the day, it's like, I don't want to do this. I tried it, whatever.
I hated it.
And a lot of people, that's the thing, bro, is a lot of people don't get past that point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the idea is to get past that point.
Yeah.
And to get to a point where, oh shit, like I can do something in this and see, because the fulfillment is in the growth.
Yeah.
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
Even with this podcast, right? I found that I did a lot of experimentation during my undergrad with this video stuff. I've done every video you can think of. I've done vlogs. I've done comedic skits.
You've done Barnos?
What's that?
Barnos?
Oh, I was like, what? I was like, I said Barnos.
He's like, motherfucker, this is a business podcast. This is not a porn podcast. This is not a fucking...
Okay, other than that, I've done literally every.
You set yourself up for that.
Yeah,
Come on.
I know. That's funny, bro. No, but like I've had those years to experiment.
Yeah.
And I didn't take it to a point where I could actually see any growth or fulfillment from it.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a while, but it took me a couple years to realize, man, like if I want to make this content stuff and I really want to be good at it, I have to be consistent, but I have to stay in the game long enough to see fulfillment, to feel fulfillment.
Yeah.
Because after a couple months of doing it, it's work.
It's work.
It's fucking work.
It's shitty.
Yeah.
It's a grind.
It's a grind.
Yeah.
And the opportunities aren't there.
Yeah.
You have no opportunity. No one's watching you. No one's giving you that pat on the back. Nobody's liking your shit.
Nobody's gonna accelerate your
Nobody
career
cares.
to the CEO level.
Yeah.
You gotta work. You have to demand that. You have to get there yourself.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
And that's where I found like, okay, when I start this podcast, and if it goes well with Kenny, that I am for minimum 1 year, once a week, we're gonna drop every week we're gonna drop something new. No matter what, no matter how busy I get, no matter if it feels like shit. And I'll tell you, bro, and you can ask this, you can talk to Kenny about this. There were days where I spent all day, my Sunday, full Sunday from 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. at night, shooting and editing.
Yeah.
By myself. No Kenny there, no Yusuf there. And I was so frustrated because the next day I had a long day at work.
Yeah.
Monday, starting of the week.
Yeah.
That I messaged them. I was like, yo, like, if you guys are really serious about this, y'all have to be here with me. If not with me, you got to be doing something for the pod.
You gotta allocate that work.
Yeah, allocate it. And it was a frustrating feeling, but I still was there those Sundays.
Yeah.
Those Saturdays, evenings, weekends, I'm still there no matter what happened. And now we're starting to see some physical manifestations of like opportunities that are coming our way.
Yeah.
After a year and a half of grinding to make this into what it is. And I'm not saying we've made it.
Yeah.
But it was consistent. And that's what I take up from 2019 was I was consistent with 80% of the shit that I was doing.
Yeah.